Hello everyone, this is a very brief tutorial on turning our fabric tubes the right side out. There's various methods and I'm often asked what's the best way to turn it. Well, I wouldn't say there was a best way to turn them right side out. It's just a favourite way. People prefer different methods. So I thought I'd just show you a few methods that you could try and you'll discover which one you prefer, and then you can then decide that that's your best method. So the first one is, what I would do, I start by saying is that when your pattern that you've got tells you to do, say, a 20-inch long piece of fabric, do an extra inch. The reason being is very often you're not sewing the ends, you're having both ends open. So by doing just an extra inch, it gives you room to close the end off, which you really want to do in several of the methods, and then afterwards you can just cut it to the right length that you want. So just add an extra 1/2 to 1 inch. As long as you end up with the right measurement at the end, that's the main thing. The first method I've got, this is a 2-inch wide piece of fabric that I've folded together, sewn at 1/4 inch seam allowance, because this tends to be the most common size. But you can adjust accordingly to the pattern you need, that the pattern requires. And what I've done here is I've got a piece of ribbon, and I've sewn the ribbon when I've stitched the end closed. So you can see it poking out there, and this helps with turning the tube. And all I do is I just start by folding this end over. You always need to help it start off, and then once you're happy that you've got it folded over by probably 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and then what I'm going to do is start by pulling. And you can see how easy it is, and now it's going to go in on itself and just help it initially to go in. And you might want to use something that's fairly blunt to help you with pushing in to start with. As if you can get hold of the fabric. It's always fiddly to start with. It always, whatever you're doing, whatever method you're using, it's a bit of a fiddle. But once you've got it folded in on itself, that's not helping me, so we'll forget that for now. And then just, you want to pull it over. I'm hoping you can see all this. It's always that initial getting over this part, and once you get past it, it's a breeze. So that's it. Once you've got it, it's fine after that. So just pull on it. Just keep pulling. does work, and I'm probably making it look more difficult than it is because I'm having to hold it a distance away from me. But once you've really got it going, as you can see, it works great. And sometimes it gets a bit caught up, so you just have to help it a little bit. And there we have it. So it's turned that nicely, and this is what I mean now, that you don't need the ribbon anymore. So you measure the length you need, and say you need 20 inches, you measure to the 20 inches, and you do need to flatten it out really. I'm being a bit lazy. And that's your tube turned with your ribbon. And as I say, I made it look a bit more difficult than it usually is, because I was, you know, had my arms outstretched and was talking at the same time as trying to do. So then you'd obviously iron this flat, etc. So that's that method with the ribbon. Another is the Hemostat Forceps, which surgeons use. And you don't need to have the end closed off for this one. I've just did the end closed off, but that end really doesn't matter, because what you want to do is, these forceps are great because they clamp at the top there, and you push them in and they're locked, and then you just press it back a little bit to release it. And the other end, they're blunt, they've got serrated inside, and they're lovely. You can get different sizes. I've got the fat ones, small ones, and I've got bent ones, with just the tiny bit that opens here. And these are great for turning the really, really thin ones. So I have different sizes for different jobs, and as with most of them, we have to start by folding the edge over, and then I'll try the fat ones first and see how we get on. You push them down through the hole, and then what you want to do is clamp the fabric on one side. Oh, I've got it on both sides, and I don't want to catch it on the back. Okay, and then just pull it through. You take your hands off these, otherwise you've got a possibility of unclamping the forceps, which you don't want to do. So you just pull the fabric through, and it's gripped the fabric nice and tight. I'm not doing so well today because I've had a bit of trouble with my arthritis today, but what I will do is get the hold of the other end with my clamps, and it just helps with pulling it through. Oh, goodness me. So just going to push that through just to help that start off. And this is what you have to do. It's all you know, getting it started is the hardest thing of all, but once you've got it started, it goes swimmingly. And I'm probably making this look harder than it actually is, So do forgive me, but I don't have much strength in my fingers at the moment. And this is another good thing, because I have arthritis in my hands. It does show you that even if you do have arthritis, these methods can often help you do the job that you need to do. Oh, I'm pulling it out of the way of you, and I'm sorry. That's what I mean. See, I find it easier when I've got it right close to me. And obviously at the moment, because I'm filming it, I can't have it very close to me. And I know I've gone out of shot at the minute, but I just need to get this over the lump to get this started. There, and I am doing this outstretched, which isn't the best of things. So if you find you've gone too far in like I had to start with, just come back out and just get a little bit through. Just do little bits at a time. And that's what I'd done. I was too ambitious and I went in too far. So as you can see, I've got it started now. Finally. It's worth persevering. And now I'll push it in, go a little bit further in, clamp and pull down, and so on. And we keep doing it this way, which, as you'll see, is a bit longer than the ribbon. Once it got started, it was dead easy to pull the ribbon through. So this can be a bit of a longer way, but it does give you the same results, as you can see. You just have to keep going in, and sliding down, and so on. And we just keep doing that. And it's just a case of doing a little bit at a time. And this is why you don't need to seal the end like you do with the ribbon method. So that's handy, not having to do it that way. Okay, and then just to finish off, sometimes I'll just go with a knitting needle, a fat ended knitting needle, so that you don't poke a hole in your fabric. And this last little bit is being awkward, so I'm going to change to the smaller ones. Nearly at the end, and I know this is a bit like watching paint dry, but I want to do it in real time. I don't want to skip past and fast forward, etc, etc. So we've got to the end. Woo! That's the Hemostat Forceps, and now we're going to bring in another one, which is the Prim Turning Set. And you've got a nice big chunky one for a big tube, a medium and a small for the tiny tubes, and this does really small tubes. I'm going to use the middle size, and this is so easy to use. And all you need to do is, and you can do it with an open end, you just have to fold it over before you get to the very end. But it doesn't hurt if you can just do the extra inch method. So you just feed this on, just feed it all on, and if you can't feed it all on, feed on what you can. And what I would do is just go past, you need to get to the end, so it doesn't matter if it goes up in there. And once you're nearly more or less at the end, push this tool down, and you just want to push it inside. As you can see, keep going, and it is that easy. And once you've come out, you can pull the wooden stick out and just pull it. See how quick and easy that was? I mean, that's child's play, isn't it? And that is the Prim turner. I'm in the UK, as most of you know. I will try to give links at the end and in the description, the video description, of these tools and where to get them from. But forgive me if I can't find them all, because I don't know if they're still available. The final one I want to show you is the Easy Point and Turner. This is a fabulous little gadget that I bought fairly recently. The only place it's available in the UK is at Lord's Sewing. It was £20. I'm not sure about the rest of the world where it's available, but if you Google EZ Point and Turner, hopefully you'll find it in your country. Sue O'Very went to Femora Cutlery, who devised this back in the 70s, and she went to them a couple of years ago and said, can we reinvent this? So they did, with her consultation, and it's a fabulous little gadget. It's got the soft rubber grip handles. They're not soft, squishy soft, but they feel soft. And you've also got a screw there where you can tighten and loosen the hinge. I'm happy with how it is. And then you've got a narrow tip and a wider one that's got a hole in. And what you do is you get your piece of tube, and it doesn't have to have a sealed end, it can have an open end, and you put it onto the tapered section. You slide it round, and it can actually take quite a long one. I'm not exactly sure the length. Now if I didn't have this sealed, you'd just fold it over, but I do, and you just push it in, and then you just want to roll the fabric over, just rolling it like so, just to tease it over. And then once you've got it, keep going, and then you'll feel when it's wanting to just slide over like that. I felt that then, and I just knew it was ready to turn. And keep going. I went a little bit too far without carrying on with the turning it inside out. That's it. If you find you've pushed it too far close together, keep going, and out she comes, and just pull it off, and there she is. That easy. So they're my little gadgets. You may know of an alternative method that you prefer, and that's great. This is just my suggestions for those of you who don't really know what's out there and what are the alternative methods. So just to recap, we've got the ribbon method, the Hemostat Forceps, the point and turner Prim tools, and the easy point and turner. So I hope you find this tutorial helpful, and I look forward to bringing you another brief tutorial. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see other ones, please press subscribe on my YouTube channel so that you don't miss any other tutorials. Bye.